Yes. So Meenu wanted to confirm something. So you want
Yeah,
to
I'll just
rephrase?
rephrase what I was saying earlier, that I was saying that can we agree agree that this is depleting us? But I just want to rephrase it and say that can we um, inquire into whether it is depleting us or not?
Hmm. Yes, makes sense. Makes sense. Great. So today the proposal was that if somebody else's idea that we are borrowing, then also it is the same impact of own idea. So the idea sensation loop will be as good as it's my own idea. So idea actually doesn't have ownership. The ingestion matters. Ingestion of idea actually leads us to depletion. So recently, actually, I personally switched over to fruit diet completely, and slowly and gradually, I'm observing my cravings that was there towards the cooked food, and I was in denial. And since I don't know how to cook, so I have to eat a food which is cooked by someone else, which could be a restaurant or even homemade. So cooking of the food is actually ideated taste. So the taste that is created out of a cooking, whatsoever the cooking, if there is a salt, then there is a creation of taste, and there are ideas around it that mix this with that, this proportion, that proportion, whatsoever, then it will become tasty. All those ideas. So if we are ingesting anybody's idea, it is actually impacting. So I am getting a lot of personal health related experience better in terms of the bringing balance. So the pains are reducing. So just many of you might be knowing that I am experiencing pain in my feet since last almost 2 years now. Now I'm today 26th day to be on fruit, completely fruit, no nuts, no vegetables, nothing, only on fruits I am. Yeah,
No
Dubey sir.
greens also, Kalyan? No
Yeah,
greens also?
no greens, not at all, only fruits.
No, I meant greens,
Yes,
not
no
grains.
greens, no
Okay.
no greens, no grains, nothing. Yeah. And the simple rationale, we discuss in our workshops that whatsoever in natural state we can consume, we are structured to consume that only. So if we understand this, then and experience through our experience, it is not that somebody is saying that's why you need to understand, but through our experience, we cannot eat anything but the fruits. Suppose there is a bunch of spinach is kept and mangoes are kept. Which one would you prefer to consume? Definitely mangoes. So this simple understanding was intellectually there, but it was not converted into walking the talk. So I recently changed that, and that is leading me to lot of understanding out of experience health wise. So that's how I think this particular proposal was formulated, that we do ingest others ideas, but the impact is same. And food's impact is that taste impact is very slow and the impact is more.
So Kalyanji, a lot of parents put their kids into some schools where they teach a specific ideology, right? Whether
Yes.
it is Islam or Hinduism, or even, for example, Krishnamurti schools, right?
Yes, yes.
So, any school where the child doesn't have the freedom to question and explore, and yeah, even possibly reject or accept. So these are all depleting the child's energy, right?
Yes. Because the child is very prone to accepting the things from the environment, and school means structurally it will be conditioning the child for sure. Whatsoever the maybe there are schools where it is proposed that we encourage kids to question and all the stuff, but then also they follow a syllabus. It is being
Hmm.
imposed unquestionable. So maybe the child is encouraged to question, but there are few things which the child has to follow. He cannot question those few things in any way. So
Hmm.
that means
So,
there is a
Kalyan,
separation
doesn't
of.
that happen?
It happens in the family also. Yes, that's what are you asking, you know
Yeah, it
yes, yes.
happens everywhere, wherever
Everywhere.
you
Yes,
exist.
yes. Schooling is not limited to a building. School is not a building. School is a philosophy.
Kalyanji, for example, let's say somebody kills someone else in the name of religion or whatever,
No.
and he is not disturbed by it.
How can he
So, is
not be?
that, I
It-
mean, the
he- he-
individual is
that's
probably so
that's
hardened.
a multi-layered idea one undergoes when he considers that I'm destructing something, but I'm not disturbed. It's a multi-layer idea of that individual. He is disturbed for sure, but there is a separation of that disturbance with the consideration that I'm not disturbed.
Hmm.
So it's a multi-layered. It's a bigger tool than being disturbed.
So, can we say that there is nothing like I am not disturbed? Because it cannot be concluded ever, isn't it? Like, um, the moment you are concluding that you're not disturbed.
You are disturbed. Yes, that's a very
Yeah.
deeper thing that you are proposing, that you are bringing in. That's obvious thing, but ultimately whether I am disturbed or not, I cannot establish it, and others cannot perceive it ever. Like my perception and my sensation are mine only. Nobody else can sense it. My sensation cannot be sensed by someone else, and I cannot sense someone else's sensation. We do a ballpark estimation. That's all. Yeah, but Salah has wrote something
So
where
there
I
is a
was.
question from Vatsala.
Yes,
Can
yes.
I
Can you
read it?
read? Yeah, please.
Sir, I was on a farm and there we had to do a lot of labor work ourselves. This question always used to come up that we do that amount of work on fruits? Laborers do not eat fruits, still they work a lot. We did not have supply of fruits also in that part of Gujarat. So getting attached to that idea used to cause a lot of innovation.
So getting attached to the idea of having only fruits, are you saying, Vasala?
Yes, sir, getting attached, like, because I am used to eating fruits in the morning, and
Yes, yes,
whenever I not feel that hungry, I would eat fruits. And there was no supply of fruits actually, and there we it
yes.
was very less that we would get fruits. And whenever we used to eat fruits, we would get hungry very fast,
Hmm.
and we'll have to come back from the
Yes,
farm and eat something. So,
yes,
and a lot of labor work was also done by us only. So we used to mostly eat grains and dals that time.
yes,
And also we'll feel hungry because we would work out a lot on the farm.
yes.
So the owner of that place would always question that, can we do that amount of work on fruits? Like, can
Yes.
we build up those muscles, and without protein, and can we really, like, that question would always come up.
Yes.
We never experimented, but it was always there, open ended.
Hmm, hmm. So if we can just explore this, first of all, the food for mankind, the natural primary food for mankind is fruit. That is undeniable because of the self experience. Are we on the same
Hmm.
page? Because of the self experience. It is not because it is
Yeah,
written in some script or somebody is
yeah,
saying that. So now
yeah.
that cannot be changed, number one. Number two,
Hmm.
the kind of labor work that we do, are we
Hmm.
supposed to do that kind of labor work? That's one question. That's another
Hmm.
question. Like the kind of labor that we are doing, is it
Hmm.
ideated or is it needful? Mankind, do mankind need to work that much? Number one.
That much.
Yes, that's a
Hmm.
question. Now,
Yeah.
if some work is needed and to be done, and people are engaged, then that kind
Hmm.
of supply of fruits perhaps was needed.
Hmm.
Like one will be hungry repeatedly because of the physical work and the higher metabolism, but
Yeah.
every time one gets hungry, must have fruits. That's the
Hmm.
natural connection. Now what happens,
Hmm.
like the introduction of the grain perhaps was due to the scarcity of food, because of
Hmm.
that kind
Yeah.
of labor, we are not able to provide that kind of quantum of the fruits, and then it leads to something which is consumable
Filler.
somehow. Yes,
Yeah.
filler kind of, and that gives. So
Yeah.
so this is something like now the conventional lifestyle, the urban lifestyle primarily, is again
Hmm.
missing of the physical labor completely.
Yeah. It's out of balance.
Yes. So somewhere we are putting a lot of labor, somewhere there is no labor at all.
Yeah.
And that becomes a very imbalancing state for the mankind.
Hmm.
So we need to understand this realistically, perhaps.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
Hmm, hmm.
So
Salya,
Yes,
sorry.
ma'am.
Yeah, go
Ma'am,
ahead.
please.
No,
Vibha, go ahead.
I had a question. So, been talking of ideas in common language. When we say idea, we just say that this thing needs to be put there, or this is a nice color that goes with this
Yes.
particular thing, or something like that. So that's considered an idea. That's spoken of as an idea. I have an idea. This is how we should do it.
Yes.
So when we speaking of ingesting, we're saying when there's subjectivity, when there's
When there
sensation
is a
involved.
sensation involved, yes, that is the ingestion. When
Yeah.
there is a sensation that gets involved in the idea. So you may pick up a color. So we use these two terms for the lack of exact terms, perhaps: selection and the
Mm.
choice. Selection and the choice. Selection is a physical aspect. When you end up picking up something, because you have to pick up something, the life is such,
Yeah.
like picking up an
Yeah.
action, picking up an item or whatsoever, picking up an individual to stay. So all these things actually are selections.
Mm.
Now when selection is added with obsession, then it becomes a choice,
Mm.
and that brings the sensation out of the ideas. That when we start considering that this is the thing, actually in life there is no the thing. All these are imaginations. Yesterday, I was discussing with my mom, and I just shared that the belief, actually, we are incapable of believing. We fake that we believe, and that is why the conflict. You know, we are human being incapable of believing, but we consider that we believe, and we end up bringing a lot of conflict because we are structured to question. We are not structured to believe. So believing and questioning are two contradictory things. So when naturally we are structured to question, if we consider that we are believing something, that's a kind of imagination we are imposing on ourselves. Like the cure, we are structured
Because
to
the
cure.
natural tendency is to inquire, and
Yes.
when we see that there are all these facets to everything, and yet we believe we're actually
Yes.
suppressing that.
Yes. Actually, we cannot believe.
Suppressing.
We are just considering that we are believing.
Hmm.
We do not believe. Actually, we do not believe.
Kalyan,
Yes, ma'am.
when we say that the light, sound, smell, taste, touch, the speed of it, and the impact of the light is lesser, and the impact of touch is much more. So if there is an idea in, if we have this knack of bringing these ideated sensations, whether it is from light or from sound or smell or taste or touch, whatever, it anyways goes on in endless loops, right? So are we saying that when we say that the impact is lesser, what do we mean?
The physical impact is lesser. Physical impact is lesser. Because we are talking about
But
a physical thing. Psychologically, anything can be obsession. That's up to you. Psychologically, anything can be your obsession. Like anything that you are using physically, if it becomes your favorite, then you start forming the psychological dependency.
So are we saying that for a samosa as well?
Yes, if samosa is
Let's
your
say,
favorite.
for example, any ideated food.
Yes.
Let's take an example of samosa.
Yes.
Are we saying that the impact of samosa physically is whatever? And if I consider that psychologically, I'm not considering myself dependent on these foods.
Yes. Yes.
And still I'm having them.
Yes. Now the psychological dependency, in case of food and sex, the touch, the taste and touch is going to be far more impactful because of the physical slow speed. Because when you ingest a taste and ingest suppose self-stimulation, masturbation is also an ingestion of touch, which is a self-stimulating, and the taste of any modified food is also a slow ingestion. So because of the slow impact on the body, if you continue ingesting, then there is a liking, that's why you are ingesting. There is a liking, that's why you are ingesting. Otherwise,
moreover, yeah, there is a liking, that's why you're ingesting.
Yes, so
and
that
secondly,
liking aspect is the sensation.
Yeah.
That may bring an ideated loop much stronger than just a light or sound.
So we are saying that the chances of getting addicted to these things is much more
food and
than
sex are much more.
Yeah.
Because of the slow speed, the physical aspect is very slow. Yeah.
Can I ask something?
Yes, ma'am.
So you said when there's a physical, I don't know, something. So when we've chosen a partner, for example, in a marriage relationship or a friend, or even if like there are parents or there's family,
yes,
is it possible to, because you're living in constant proximity with someone,
yes,
to not be psychologically have that kind of dependence or addiction?
It's very much possible. Very much possible. When you do not stop.
But what you've done is,
Rashi.
so for example, for a marriage to, I don't know, I don't have really any personal experience of this, but for a marriage to survive, there needs to be an imagination that, you know, this is the, I don't know.
So if a marriage,
this is the best, this is the best choice for
surviving, if a marriage is surviving because of some specific condition, then it's an assumption. It is not at all surviving. We're just pulling on. Are you able to comprehend this? It's just an imagination that I'm surviving my marriage, or I'm carrying on with my marriage. It's actually it's not, it's dead, already dead. We're just pulling on. A relation, if needs a condition to be fulfilled, it's not at all a relation.
But for example, you could be compatible with 25 other people, but you've chosen to be with one.
Yes.
So that's kind of an unnatural choice that you've made, isn't it? I mean, when you may be attracted to 25 others and may be compatible, and or you know,
it's just happened. It's just happened. It's not that you have chosen. There's no question of choice in an inquiring life. It's just happened that you are there. And for an inquiring person, the energy is bubbling all the time. You know, you are full with energy all the time. And whoever are there and wherever you are, you will have that bundle of energy with you, and you will be very much intense. So it may look like that you are so passionate about that particular relation, but psychologically you are not considering these are special. Just the speciality happens to be the physical proximity. That's it. And which is undeniable, because physical proximity is undeniable, that you are with whom you are only with whom. With him or her. Yeah. Are you able to comprehend?
But there's an unnatural commitment or boundaries that have been created. So
yeah,
if I am to make this marriage work, then I have to be with only this person, or example, not in a sexual relationship only with this person and not with the other. So those are unnatural boundaries that you create, right?
Absolutely. Psychologically created. Nothing more than that. Yes.
Kalyan?
Yes, ma'am.
When we are saying that we are attracted to 25 people or whatever it is.
No, she didn't mention attracted. We could be compatible to 25 people. She was mentioning that.
Yeah, even if we are compatible. Yeah. So for the intimate relationship, like when the example of marriage is being brought in, is it natural to have this kind of relationship with many people?
Yeah. What's the harm? I don't see any harm. If you are doing it with plan, then there is a harm. If it just happens.
No, I'm talking about the intimate relationship, sir.
Yes.
Is it?
I'm saying the same. The intimate physical relationship, sexual relationship you are talking about?
Yes.
Are you saying so? Yes. I'm saying the same thing. But is it coming out of a planning or an opportunity, or it just happens? That's a bigger question, actually. Because naturally
is it naturally happening? Like, because naturally
it cannot happen. Sex is unnecessarily exaggerated by mankind. Sex is unnecessarily exaggerated. We don't have that kind of libido, you know, actually, naturally, unless you stimulate. So these all things actually are all ideated, that multiple partners and all. End of the day, naturally, one cannot have multiple partners unless ideated. But if suppose somebody exclusively, exceptionally is having as an emergence, what is the big deal? In the animal kingdom, we see that. That's very natural. Can happen. Am I able to explain it or?
Yes, sir, it's understandable.
Hi, Nidhi. Nidhi.
So one more thing on that marriage, when we were saying that we are binding ourselves in something and it is going to restrict and all that is
What restrict? I couldn't comprehend.
probably
What restrict?
what Vibha was also mentioning, that in the marriage, because
To
you are
work.
committing in a
Marriage to
way,
work? Marriage to work?
yeah, you are
Yes.
yeah, for the marriage to work, initially you are committing to someone that you're going to be with him or her forever or whatever it is. But all that is probably just external external thing that is spoken or said about or whatever. Internally, what it is being perceived as, is it a foundation if it is perceived as that, or
Is it not? I'm
is
asking.
there really a relationship there? That is the big question, probably.
Yeah,
More than
if it is run due to a condition, if it is
yeah,
run,
the
if it is
condition
dependent,
that I have to, yeah,
yes, I have to do this to work, to make my marriage work. That's actually just an assumptuous endeavor. Yeah, Nidhi, you have unmuted. How are
Hi,
you doing,
Kalyan.
ma'am? How are you doing, ma'am?
Long time. I'm good.
Yeah, long time.
How are you?
Good, good, good. Thank you.
Right. Glad to get connected.
Yes, 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 yes. After a long time, we are doing this inquiring session.
Right.
Let's see if we can continue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Rashi, you unmuted once. So was that by mistake or yeah?
Yeah, that
Okay,
was
okay.
by mistake actually. I
Okay,
didn't
okay.
realize.
I thought you want to share something. Deepa, kuch to bolo.
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking of like the ingestion of ideas
Yes.
and how like money is something that like we use, but then it is in some form, like it has come out of some particular ideas
Yes.
to
Yes.
for use, but then we do need to use it. So I was just thinking of how then, I mean,
What
that
is the
can be done,
relationship
like
with the money?
money.
Ideated relation or a physical relation? So this is very
Yeah.
simple. If we can identify our survival needs that are to be met, in any case, and we are very much capable to earn our survival. Earn means it may not be through money, through collaboration also it could be, through co-evolution also it could be, and familially also it is. Familially somebody is earning and others are all supporting the journey and all, that means everybody is earning money wise. So that's very clear cut. Like we put a lot of load onto ourselves if we are not earning money, so called. So it's not very much needed to earn direct money, but to be in the journey of life means you will meet up your survival, and less rest of the luxury thing is all ideated. You have it or don't have it, actually you never can have it. So that we need to understand. Like I may have a Mercedes, but I cannot have it. That's all. Maybe the physical structure of Mercedes in my garage, but I cannot have it ever. So those all just drama that we play.
so what do you mean by have the Mercedes ever means?
Yes, yes, yes. So for what reason we want to have a Mercedes? So vehicle is to cover a distance. Vehicle is meant to cover a distance. Now, if I am obsessed about the Mercedes, having a Mercedes, that's an image that I have created of myself having a Mercedes. And just
So there are
this
two
is a
things in
manifestation.
this.
Yeah.
So it's not only about the Mercedes or anything. It is about the luxury that we are talking about is also like it could be something like reaching from one place to the other. Of course, the car is for that, but then there is some kind of safety feature involved in some cars, or if you're traveling long distance or whatever it is. So why you are choosing the Mercedes over something else, and why you are actually going to some place in the first place is more like the point to be questioned, rather than whether having a Mercedes is a luxury or not, because it could be a need for someone and a luxury for another, in that psychological thing I'm saying.
Yes. So if someone is considering that it is not a luxury, this is a survival need for me, this is an assumption of that individual.
Sure, yeah,
Right. So
it is an assumption.
So that assumption has got manifested in that car.
So that is not only for
It's not-
Mercedes, it is for any car or anything.
Absolutely, anything for that matter. Yes, yes. How attached are you with that? If it is just a coincidental, incidental, then it's not bringing any extra load onto your energy. And that needs to be answered by individual. I cannot vouch for you, you cannot vouch for me. How am I attached or not to anything and everything? So it works for Mercedes or even a hut, a farm. The framework is same. The framework of obsession is
That's
same.
what I was saying, that
Yeah,
it's
yes.
not about the thing, it is
Definitely,
about the
definitely. It's a formation of the clue. Absolutely. Great. So Deepa, any reflection on this? Any?
I mean, yeah, like it's so. I mean, I'm saying it could be money, or it could be even the house that I live in, or I mean, it's just there are so
I've
many.
seen people that without this pillow, I'll not be able to sleep.
Yeah, so many ideas. So I mean that. So I'm getting that one is the identification sort of comes with when you experience the sensations of how that particular thing is creating something within you, in your body. So that could be like sort of that's where you might be able to identify, okay, in this there is something happening.
Yes.
And then I don't know, but yeah.
Mostly what happens, we are in a denial. Like everything has got its physical aspect and the psychological aspect. Now, when we deny the psychological aspect and consider that's also a physical aspect, that becomes the primary loop that never ends, actually. When we are in questioning knack, then we are very open to question ourselves. We are not very conclusive about our own perceptions. And that frees us. That frees a lot of energy for the individual. So self-questioning, self-observation, observation means questioning, because you cannot observe without questioning. And again, I repeat this thing, that questioning knack is not a list of questions. It's just a knack of questioning. Yes, Bhiva ma'am.
I just wanted to add something to what Deepa was saying. She was saying that I think when we observe the sensations a thing is creating in our body, then we can figure out why we're attached, or and get rid of the attachment. But also, like in the case of a car, it could be a public image that we want to project, that I am successful, or I am rich, or something like that.
Yeah, that image is created in our head only. It's not that public.
But even
has
that,
created. Yes.
I am a simple person, so I have only a cycle.
Yes.
Even that
Yes.
is a projection.
Yes.
So is that, would you call that a sensation as well? I mean,
Yes.
in our
Yes,
terminology.
yes, because that
It's a
image is stagnated, and stagnated perception always brings sensation. That image is a confirmed image, concluded image that we have created in our mind. So that means the perception has stopped. It doesn't have a dynamism. If the perception is stagnated, then it brings sensation. And another thing that when you were saying that, I was about to reflect that we then we can get rid of it. You mentioned about that. Now there is no can be possible in getting rid process. It actually dissolves on its own. If you plan to
Right.
dissolve, then it doesn't dissolve. Just looking at it will end up dissolving it, because fake thing doesn't stay when it is with a limelight. It dissolves.
Right. Yeah.
In the dark only we keep on forming the fake things. Around a minute time is left. So great catching up with all of you. Thanks all of you for joining, and we'll continue.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Bye. Thank you, Kalyan.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Kalyan.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
वीडियो ऑन कर दो एक बार, तो चेहरा देख लेते हैं सभी का. Yes, thank you. थोड़ा सा एक्चुअल सिमुलेशन हो जाता है चेहरा भी देखने से, isn't it? Great. So few seconds are left. So see you next week, perhaps, or next to next week. Let's see. Bye bye.